Hi, my name is Michelle Grakowski, and I'm the director of the Wisconsin Business World program. We travel throughout the state educating middle and high school students on the importance of business, entrepreneurship, and our free market. But most importantly, our message is super simple, and that's that business is a force for good. The COVID-19 pandemic has drastically changed our programming this year, unfortunately. We had to cancel about 20 of our events, including our 2 Business World summer camps, which was a huge bummer for us because it's our favorite time of the year to get all the students together, and to really deep dive into business. So we're really bummed, but, we're sharing in the disappointment that so many of you are feeling right now with the sports and the end of the year activities and other important events like graduation, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes, all being canceled or postponed. But through the dark times, there's always a light, and that's what we've really sat back to think about. Things were really scary, like back in March when we were just learning about the pandemic and what this meant, not just for our health, but for businesses, for our communities, for our livelihoods. And we were getting a little bit concerned. But through it, we started hearing about some really great things that businesses were doing. So we did a call for action and reached out to middle and high school students all across the state and asked them if they could help us share some of the incredible things that businesses are doing in their communities. And also to highlight the important roles, that they're playing across the state. I'm proud to say that we received about 200 entries, all of which were super insightful and really, really well written. So to pick the best of the best was a super huge challenge for us at the Business World staff. But I'm so happy to introduce you to one of our winners today from our high school competition. Sarah is a senior from Plymouth Comprehensive High School, and her essay was heads and shoulders above the competition. We're just so proud of her words and her wisdom and what she shared with us. And we're so excited to have her here today so that you can hear some of her words on her own. So congratulations, Sarah, for writing such a wonderful essay, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Great. So as you're launching into, as I mentioned, Sarah, you're a senior, and so your life has been just kind of thrown into a big loophole, or loophole. I'm sure that this isn't how you anticipated your senior year going. So as we launch into the summer, and looking back, can you share a little bit about how the pandemic affected you and your community and why it was important to you to enter the Business as a Force for Good essay contest?
Well, as a high school senior, I did get the last few months of high school cut short, so that was, of course, not the best scenario for this year. And potentially I lost my graduation, at least in person. It'll be virtual no matter what. So that's been the biggest effect for me. And college this fall, we're not quite sure how that's going to go yet. We'll be finding out in the coming weeks. And then in my community, it's been sad to see a lot of people lose their jobs. And it's been especially hard to see the dairy farmers. They've had to dump milk, and that was all over social media. They were really affected by that. Entering this contest provided me a chance to share about my community as well as focus on the good that's happening right now.
That's great. Can you share some examples, that you've seen in your community or throughout the state as you were doing your research? Any examples, any thoughts that you have that kind of help pull this all together?
Yeah, there's been a lot of businesses that have done great things for us. I'm from Plymouth, so we love cheese. Yeah, we're proud about that. And Sargento is one of the biggest cheese companies around here, and they donated a ton both in and out of state to Milwaukee's Hunger Task Force and then other places around the United States. So that has helped people that have lost their jobs and may not be able to afford food right now. And then I work at Waldo State Bank, and I've seen what they've done for their small community. They bought elderly individuals Meals on Wheels, which I thought was amazing, so that they didn't have to go out and risk getting sick, because that would be hard for those people. And they also transformed their free reading library into a pantry for the community, so people could go and get food from there, which I thought was really cool.
That is fantastic. That both Sargento and the Waldo State Bank, that stuck out to me when I was reading your essay. It was really fun to hear about a bank, in a small town that was making such a huge difference. So thank you for sharing that. That was really special. So one final question. So businesses across the state of Wisconsin continuously are demonstrating that business is a force for good throughout the year. We're a nonprofit, Business World is, and we rely on our donations from our supporters, in order to run our programming. So we see every day how important business is to nonprofits in the community. Sometimes it's not quite as apparent, as life is just kind of going forwards. What lessons did you learn on the impact and the importance of business in the community while you were writing this essay?
Well, just from the pandemic, I learned how much I miss the businesses that had to temporarily shut down. Like, I think everybody missed restaurants and movie theaters. Like, I miss going to them. I'm sure everybody did. Yeah, businesses in our community really ensure that we all have a happy and stable life. And without them, everything really gets messed up. And I think this pandemic has showed that. They employ everybody, really, in our community. And they help us thrive and they keep the money local. And I think they're really important to help keep our towns prideful and just thrive.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Business is such a huge part of our communities. It's our livelihood. It's what keeps us all going. So yeah, this has been really an unprecedented time to just kind of see how things have been falling together. So, thank you so much for joining us and for your words and for your essay and for working so hard on it. I hope you all have a chance to read Sarah's essay. We're going to have a link to her essay and all of the winners on our website, along with, as I mentioned before, we had almost 200 entries, and there were some really strong essays as well that we just weren't able to choose as our winners, but that deserve to be read as well. So please visit our website. It's www.wibusinessworld.org and check out all of the winners and also the honorable mentions, because there are so many incredible things that are happening all around our community and communities in our state. So thank you again so much, Sarah, for coming in, and we really appreciate talking to you, and thanks again for your wonderful words.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.